Does the change to the waiver policy feel like a response to what happened with Indianapolis, and how do you feel about them making?
I mean, I think it's definitely a response to that, for sure, to protect them. But I don't really think you're ever going to see it come into play in that same exact scenario. I think it's definitely going to come into play more for when drivers get suspended for, making a mistake, and not a mistake, but intentionally wrecking somebody or something like that. That's where you're going to see the rule come into place. So, and I'm sure they thought about that as well. And maybe that's what they wanted, to have to keep drivers from doing right hooking somebody. So, but yeah, I don't think you're going to see that scenario kind of come into play as what happened last year.
Overall, how do you just feel about the change? It's more now.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's whatever. Try not to run into any of those issues.
Denny was saying earlier that he thinks qualifying is going to be really key for Daytona 500 because it's just harder to work your way through the field with as big of a hole that this car punches through the air. Do you see that the same way? Is there an emphasis that you guys are putting on qualifying with that in mind?
I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily think that it's that important. It's always important to qualify good. So I'm not saying it's not important, but I think it's way more important at a short track to qualify good or an intermediate to qualify good. I think when you come here, sure, you qualify bad, you sacrifice some stage 1 points, but you save enough fuel and then you cycle your way to the front to start, the next stage or whatever the case may be. You kind of just chip your way at it, or you can get big chunks, if you're saving fuel and executing your green flag stops. And then, yeah, you're in position at the end of it. You're probably in position. I've seen the Toyota guys do it. They never qualify good. They're always in contention in the second stage. So, yeah, I don't think it's that important.
It's not like you've been out of the seat in the off season, but it's kind of a good to get back in the seat of a cup.
Yeah, it is. It's just good to be back into like the normal routine, or what I feel like is the normal routine of racing season, and getting to your scheduled Monday meetings and Thursday meetings, and like, I know I'm flying out on this day, and stuff like that, and being around my teammates, like that's all the stuff that I kind of you miss in the off season. Even though I'm racing, like I still just miss the routine of all that. So yeah, glad to be back going again with all that, and yeah, just look forward to hopefully another successful season.
Kind of one of the first races, or the first race we brought to us this year. How did you describe the racing how to race there and that like that? And that's unlike Charlotte, unlike just level again to the speed of one.
Yeah, it's definitely its own unique style, different even than Daytona or Talladega. So yeah, it's just really like high intensity, and it's just like a hybrid of in a way of Daytona and Talladega, as well as maybe an intermediate style track. So yeah, it's intense for sure. It's unique, and your heart rate gets up.
What makes it intense? When you say it's intense,
It's just, I mean, you're drafting, you're on top of each other, you feel like you're on edge. The lap happens really quick. There's some bumps, and like it's just really edgy. So, yeah, I think that's what makes it feel intense.
California, Southern California, the number 2 market, and how can you get back?
Yeah. So well, yes, I do think it's very important that you get out to that region. I think there's some of the best race fans, and very passionate race fans, in Southern California and on the West Coast in general. So yeah, and then as far as how you get back, I don't know. Irwindale just shut down. We don't go to the Coliseum anymore. They say that Fontana's still going to convert, but I don't believe that. So I don't know, but I would love to. I don't know what other tracks are out there, but I would love for us to get back out to Southern California. I wish we could race in every state, but we can't. So yeah, I mean, times change, but so I don't know. I don't run the schedule. I don't run the sport. So I'm sure it's not like they've it's not like NASCAR's forgotten about Southern California. I'm sure they're trying to figure out ways to get back there. So yeah, I think hopefully in the future we can get back to Southern California. I love that we're not here racing the Clash. I love that we've taken the built the track at the Coliseum. That was awesome in a market that didn't know what NASCAR might have been. I also love going to Bowman Gray and getting back to the the roots of our sport. So yeah, I mean, I think you could take the LA sort of idea and move around to different markets and stuff, or I feel like it'd be cool if you can revive some other grassroots style tracks that are close to the roots of NASCAR. So I think they've done a really great job with the Clash over the last 4 years or so.
So Denny Hamlin was talking about irrational confidence because I asked him about this Gamehart not being his crew chief anymore. He said, surely you're hyping his own, podcast and blah, blah. Certainly you don't need the confidence when your crew chief goes and becomes, the head guy. That your crew chief's not there. He said, we all drivers have irrational confidence. Thinking that you can make a move and then making it. If you didn't have that, you wouldn't be able to do it. Do you understand what he's saying? Like, we think of you guys as having a ton of confidence all the time.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, have you always been the kind that, little things like a change in a crew chief, losing something on track doesn't not affect your confidence? I mean, you're Kyle Larson.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it always, your confidence is, your confidence always affected, whether good results, bad results, changes in teams or personnel, or just the uncertainty, I think, on that side of things. Chris Gabehart is a phenomenal leader. So when you lose a guy like that, I can see, like, if I view it as like if Cliff was to tomorrow leave his role, for sure, I would be devastated and very worried about my, future. But you kind of have to get back after it and also use it as motivation, probably. So, I think Denny is going to have a great year still. JGR's got awesome stuff. And yeah, maybe Gabehart in his new role is going to be able to touch on the team organization as a group and make it overall better than it already was. So yeah, change is change, but there's always uncertainty until you get race on.
Is it more than the decisions on the track for a really talented crew chief? Is it more like you've learned to lean on him and you're just so used to him that it makes you confident just because you don't have to try to figure out things or worry about stuff, and that's the hard part? If you were to hope for he's going through anything?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know what Denny thinks, but like I said, so I go and try and put myself in his shoes, and I feel like Gabehart and Cliff are very similar people, very similar leaders, very similar crew chiefs, and how they, especially like how Gabehart leads Denny or led Denny, and how Cliff leads me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if I was to lose that, yeah, it would be super awkward at first, and I'm sure it was just out of nowhere probably to him as well. So yeah, it's but he's still got a great team, and he was super fast at Clash, so he's gonna be just fine.
What about your confidence on super speedways? Because the results might not indicate it, but it seems like you're in the mix more frequently than you did.
I do feel pretty confident when we come to these races. I feel like we have a great feel for the race and kind of how it works out and the strategy, and I do feel like we're up front quite often at the end of them. We've not made it through some of the wrecks, or I've made a bad move and got shuffled back, real late, stuff like that. Or Talladega, we missed a wreck finally and finished third or fourth. So yes, I feel like we have a good understanding of these races and just got to keep doing what we've been doing, and hopefully things will just work out.
What do you think's made Denny so successful?
He's just a very calculated racer, and I feel like there takes less of that now with the style of racing. So I think like his ability doesn't shine maybe quite as much as it used to, but yeah, he's just a super smart racer, and he stays calm. I feel like it's not hard for him to stay focused.
With Jeff Gordon, kind of a pioneer because of the dirt track kind of background, Are you aware or do you
Oh, yeah.
respect? And yeah, what's been his impact? Yeah.
Well, I mean, as far as like, yeah, as being a pioneer, like, I mean, he was the first real dirt racer, I feel like, young to make it to NASCAR. So yeah, he definitely paved the way for guys like myself, especially coming from Northern California. Like my career path really modeled his, from moving from Northern California to Indiana, doing some USAC stuff, and then coming to Charlotte. Like that, he kind of showed you the way to do it. So a lot of people still try to do it that way. So yeah, it was very thankful for that, even from a long time ago, and now that he's my boss, it's really cool.
Thank you.
Indy 500 wife and you got for that. Toward his share of 55 I know we got different is from one different race of that for me, so I could respect you that. Daniel Cassie Randy.
Tons of respect for Elio. He's won that race 4 times, I believe. So that's pretty amazing to put yourself in contention to win 4, and he's probably been close to winning a lot of others. So yeah, it's and he's just a huge personality. He's just a really big name. So to have him here racing the Daytona 500 in a totally different car and series, it's pretty awesome. So I hope he does well. I know he will do well. It's not really, I don't think it's gonna be too challenging for him. It's not a big deal racing around here, and the strategy is very similar to Indy 500. So he'll be just fine.
He's led won the Chili Bowl for 3 times, then Daytona 500. You've won several more since then. You just got your first big gator, which congratulations on. I'm curious, running as much dirt and as many marquee dirt races as you do, what's the some of the wise for the Daytona 500 compared to these other big marquee races that you've won?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, those are all shorter races, so that's a lot different. But I don't know. Your mindset is similar probably in all of them, and I feel like as I've gained more experience in racing and in a lot of races and winning other big races, your nerves aren't very high anymore, and you're pretty focused throughout the whole time. So yeah, it's I think just age and experience helps more than anything.